My name is Ian and welcome to Planted. I'm on a mission to help you have more success growing plants in your yard. Now in this episode we look at some rather wild internet claims about plants that you can grow from seed. Now this is my plant that I bought last year. This is convolvulus. This year it's put out the white flower with the pale blue stripe to it. There is no guarantee whatsoever that those seeds will grow that same coloration. And yet that is what we're looking at in this deep dive into the internet. Apparently, those bamboo can be grown from seed. And if you've got the patience and the time, you might be growing dwarf bonsai apple trees. You might even be trying to grow square watermelons. If you do a search online, you'll find that these are put into boxes and the fruit is grown in that contorted shape. The seeds will not work for you. Fruit trees are very popular. I think the idea is that this is part of the movement to eat healthier. If you don't have much space, you can grow a dwarf tree and it'll have pears or apples or whatever it is that you want. But these are grown on what's called a dwarf rootstock, and that is what keeps them small. The seeds will not have those same characteristics. I'm a big fan of figs, and here in the Northeast I can grow what's called the common fig, and all my figs come from cuttings with a proven production and a track record. I'm not ever going to be growing these figs from seed. What about a blue, well, let's just say blue watermelon? Do you think children might like to eat a blue watermelon? Probably. And what about blue raspberries? I've never seen these in person, but you can buy 100 seeds of blue raspberries, and they're fresh fruit and they're healthy. And while we're at it, let's go for blue strawberries. If these were true plants, these would be in all the garden centers. Everybody would have them, but they're not. They're on the internet. Now, blue in the plant world is quite unusual. Maples are very popular. Japanese maples are really popular. So let's have a blue Japanese maple. And what they typically do is have a few paragraphs of waffle about how to grow it and important factors. But there's nothing consistent about those growing conditions. And I think what I like most of all is that if you come up with an alluring name, then that means it must be true. So this is the Blue Ghost Japanese flower seeds. It's just a load of twaddle. Now I've traveled extensively. I've been able to go to Japan on multiple occasions. I've been throughout Europe, North America, South America, New Zealand and Australia. I've never seen these plants. I think this is where I managed to land the plane. If you look closely, this image of the blue pampas grass is the same image as this pink pampas grass. Now, what are the chances that two separate clumps should have the exact same architecture? And then when you read the little bit of writing that comes with it, they talk about it being the white, fluffy pampas grass. Oh, and we'll just throw in a bit of blue for good measure, because that might make you want to spend your money. I'm seeing a pattern here. They choose a subject that's very popular, and in this case, roses. And here we've got blue, purple, black rose seeds, perennial plant, flower seeds. They just go on and on. If there was a true, stable black rose, you would see it. It would be out there. The plant industry survives on new introductions, new varieties, stronger growth, more resistant to pest and disease. And if it was true, it would be out there. This is a rather colorful interpretation of some digital editing. They've just stamped the flower multiple times. Now you can get what's called a bicolor, but I think many of these bicolors are then further enhanced with a little bit of digital trickery, and in some cases I know that food coloring is used to really make that plant look rather special. If ever I came across this explosion in a lipstick factory I would probably stop growing plants because it's just not real. It's not realistic and it's not accurate. Oh, let's not forget the blue rose. And if you have a blue rose, you better have a green rose to go with it. 100 pieces mixed color climbing rose seeds. Just not realistic. There is no way any seed collection would ever give you that. Another popular plant is Dicentra. This is the bleeding heart. We have our obligatory blue version of that plant, and then we go on to some other colors. We've got a yellow and a pale mauvey blue, and then there's even some mixed. And I think what's happening is here that they're going for the exotic looking, telling you that there's something a bit different, and then getting you to part with your money. There's not one of these that I would spend my money on. I'll let you make that decision yourself. As I wrap up this video, I do want you to know that growing plants from seed is a very, very good option. This is the planted courtyard from last year, from last August. And in this courtyard, there's a number of plants that I grew from seed that I couldn't buy as a plant. So seeds are a valuable choice when you want to grow certain plants. But what I've showed you in the previous 7 minutes is some pretty interesting claims that you really can't prove right and you can't prove wrong. By the time you've proved them wrong, you've probably moved on with your life and you're not going to try and track down and get your money back. So do your own research. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Thank you for watching Planted. Tell your friends, tell your family. Happy planting.